When we're young, making friends is easy. A shared game, a split snack, or simply sitting next to someone in class is enough to form a bond. Friendship back then didn't require complex reasons, matching values, or emotional safety. It was spontaneous, light, and full of possibility. But as time passes, things change slowly, then all at once. One day, you realize your contact list is full, but your heart is quiet. There are fewer people you can truly call in a moment of emotional chaos. Not because you don't want connection, but because it feels harder to find those who truly understand. You begin to ask yourself, why does growing up often feel like growing apart? Why do we have fewer friends as we get older? This is not just a matter of having less free time or moving to different cities. The truth goes deeper. It has everything to do with how our priorities, emotional needs, and definitions of connection evolve with age. A long-term study from Oxford University found that people's social circles peak around age 25 and gradually shrink after that. By age 30, the number of friends people regularly communicate with often drops by half compared to their college years. It's not just a statistic, it reflects a deeper shift in the structure of our social lives. When we're young, proximity makes friendships easy. We bond with classmates, neighbors, teammates, not necessarily because we're deeply compatible, but because we're consistently around each other. But as we age, physical closeness isn't enough. Relationships that existed merely because of shared environments begin to fade if there's no deeper alignment in values, worldview, or emotional intimacy. As we mature, we start to prioritize emotional safety, resonance, and authenticity. And because our time becomes limited and precious, we become more selective about who we let into our inner world. Adulthood brings with it many invisible weights: careers, family, financial stress, personal goals, emotional fatigue. Time becomes a resource you must budget carefully. A night of rest feels more valuable than a forced social event. We no longer have the energy for shallow connections, performative friendships, or surface-level conversations. So the people who stay tend to be those who genuinely align with us, and that group is naturally smaller. Also, growing up means becoming more self-aware. You start recognizing who really cares about you, who listens without judging, and who only comes around when they need something. You learn that not all who were close in the past are meant to stay forever. Some friendships serve a beautiful purpose for a specific season of life, and when their time ends, it's not a failure, it's natural. Trying to hold on to every connection only drains you emotionally. Real friendships in adulthood are measured not by frequency of interaction, but by depth, honesty, and presence during the hard times. Another challenge is emotional self-protection. The older we get, the more we've been hurt: betrayals, misunderstandings, people leaving without explanation. These experiences build invisible walls around our hearts. We become more cautious, slower to trust, and hesitant to let people see the vulnerable parts of us. You can be surrounded by people yet feel deeply alone, simply because you no longer allow yourself to connect the way you used to. And even if someone does try to get close, it may take months or years before you fully believe they'll stay. This emotional armor is meant to protect, but it often isolates. Differences in values also become more pronounced with age. When we're young, these differences are often ignored or irrelevant. But in adulthood, your beliefs, goals, and moral compass shape the way you see the world, and not everyone aligns with that. Two people who were once inseparable may grow apart simply because their life paths no longer run parallel. There's no blame in that. It's just that some roads must be walked alone, at least for a while. But here's the thing: having fewer friends doesn't mean you're failing at relationships. On the contrary, it may be a sign of emotional maturity. When you know who you are, you no longer need a large network to feel validated. You value peace over popularity, quality over quantity. A person who truly sees you, listens without fixing, and stays when you're not at your best is worth more than dozens of casual companions. Research by anthropologist Robin Dunbar suggests that humans can only maintain around 150 stable social relationships, and of those, only about 5 are considered truly close. That's not a flaw, it's human nature protecting your emotional bandwidth. So what do you do when your social circle is shrinking? First, accept it as a natural part of growth, not a personal failure. No one keeps all their school friends forever, because life moves, and so do people. Appreciate the ones who are still here. And when the opportunity arises, be open to new connections that feel aligned with your values and emotional needs. Second, focus on quality. A friend who holds space for you, accepts your flaws, and brings quiet peace is far more valuable than a dozen who only show up when it's convenient. Let go of the pressure to maintain appearances. What matters most is emotional safety and mutual respect. Third, be proactive. Relationships, even friendships, require effort. Don't wait for others to reach out. If someone matters to you, send the message. Make the call. Reach out before the silence grows too deep. You never know, maybe they're struggling with the same doubts you are. Finally, reconnect with yourself. Sometimes the loneliness we feel isn't about others being absent, it's about being disconnected from our own inner life. Learn to sit with yourself, to befriend your own thoughts, to understand your wounds and how to heal them. When you feel whole within, your external relationships reflect that wholeness. You stop needing others to fill your emptiness and start inviting those who can walk beside you, not carry you. Growing older doesn't mean losing everyone. It means seeing clearly who's really meant to stay. And though the number may shrink, the depth grows. In a noisy world filled with shallow interactions, having even 1 or 2 real friends is a gift. So if you feel like your circle is smaller these days, don't be discouraged. You may just be moving closer to what's real.